Okay, I can't put this off anymore. But before we start this Randome review, we're going to take a field trip to the middle of nowhere so that I don't have to associate this movie with my house any more than I have to. Now then, how am I going to get to the middle of nowhere? That'll work. Whee! Evolution is not a good movie, and there are several reasons to that, but let's get two reasons that people claim are actual reasons out of the way. One, some people are upset that Goku was played by a white guy and not an Asian actor. I will point out that Goku is a Saiyan. He's from another planet. Therefore, you can't really say he's any race found on Earth. Number two, people were upset that it didn't take place in the exact same world, being the world with people with animal heads and other fancy elements. As far as most of that goes, this is an adaptation of an anime to a Hollywood movie. Now, with that out of the way, let's get on to the real problems of this movie. First off, this movie is just schizophrenic. I mean, it has no idea what it wants to be. This movie doesn't know if it wants to be an action flick, a drama, or a comedy. And that's all apparent within the first fight scene. And it doesn't really seem to know if it wants to be a adaptation of the original Dragon Ball or if it wants to be an adaptation of Dragon Ball Z. And here's the difference. Usually, Dragon Ball is about the quest to collect all 7 Dragon Balls. That's normally what they do. And Dragon Ball Z is usually about Goku training to become stronger to fight off the new force that's come to destroy Earth. And once we reach the second half of the movie, they're trying to tell both of those stories. And it literally pulls the movie apart. One thing this movie does know, one thing it's not schizophrenic about is its target audience. And they were clearly targeting an audience whose age had not reached double digits yet. Excuse me while I go to my happy place. Chala, chala. Then you also have this weird thing where at the first part of the movie, they go at a relatively nice pace, but it also kind of grounds it into this just semi-futuristic world. I mean, look at the high school. High school is just like a normal high school, just slightly futuristic. But then, once we get to the second part of the movie, it has a horrible pacing. Things are just happening so fast because they're trying to tell 2 separate movies at the same time. And they also bring all the fantasy stuff to the forefront in the second part. And it's like, what? And not only do they bring the fantasy to the forefront, they also include this crap about water, fire, and air bending, which they don't explain and doesn't make any sense. And it's just confusing, but it does help me piece together some questions I had about this old picture from The Last Airbender. And then you have the characters. I'm not going to say a problem with the actors, because it feels more a problem with the characters, how they were written, more than how the actors portrayed them. When you're making an adaptation, we're changing it up so that a completely new audience who isn't even interested in anime or manga can watch it and enjoy it. You still need, at the nougaty center of the new characters, to be the original character. And I don't feel that from any of these characters. Since, of course, we're bringing this over to an American audience, we have to have love interest for the main character, which, since it's Goku, is Chi-Chi, and she doesn't really resemble Chi-Chi, and the only reason she's there is to be a love interest for Goku. And we know she's a love interest because every single time we see her, she is wearing a low-cut blouse that reveals cleavage, and I don't really think that that was necessary. Oh, real mature. Shouldn't you be in the phantom zone bothering someone else? And then we have the fight scenes. And really, the only fight scene I actually cared about was the one between Roshi and Goku. Simply because Chow Yun-Fat was there, and I liked the way how he was just effortlessly throwing Goku around. But these fight scenes are just boring to watch. I mean, holy crap, this fight scene between Piccolo and Goku, the final fight scene is just them flailing around and the CGI added in later. Oh, sorry, it's just these like 5 pages of Bedrot versus Boo is just better than the entire Dragon Ball Evolution movie. And there are also just plot holes that never get addressed, like how did King Piccolo escape? Now then, these are the big reasons as to why this is a bad movie. There are several other small reasons that individually would have been enough to make this a bad movie. But these are where the people in charge really dropped the ball. But this movie did have potential. It honestly had the chance to do something new with Dragon Ball. But they just could not decide which direction to go in, and because it makes it something unwatchable. I tried to see what Akira Toriyama thought about this movie, and this is what he had to say. But, no, Toriyama-san, this is not a masterpiece. You know, maybe it's not Evolution's fault. Maybe it's just impossible to make an adaptation from an anime to film that would be good. Now then, I don't really have a set scaling system. Not yet. But for this one, I'm going to go with a 7 scale and say that this movie gets a 1 half Dragon Ball out of 7. Oh crap, Kami's gonna be mad. Thanks again. Oh, I certainly am glad I finally got that done. No, it's Evolution's fault.